Hey friends, Peggy Hall here from thehealthyamerican.org. By now you probably have heard about the administration student loan debt forgiveness program. I just did a video about that and I shared some of the comments that I've seen floating around social media, and I'm grateful for all of your comments as well. I'm a person that put myself through college. I took out loans and I paid them back. So I'm very curious to know what other people think about this. What I'm going to talk about today is college really worth it? Think about that. Let me know in a comment below. Did you go to college? Did you go to graduate school? Did you go to trade school, a professional school? Are you an entrepreneur? Did you start your own business? Are you retired? I would love to hear what your professional work situation is or has been. And then I want to ask you the question, could you have done that without going to college? I'm going to dive into that in just a moment. And first, let me give you a brief message from my sponsor. And we are going on over to healthwithpeggy.com. I use this. I love it. I hope that you will too. And friends, history is being made. Thanks to a new study, there is strong evidence to suggest collagen is one of the best supplements in the world to help reduce the appearance of skin aging. Researchers found the supplement helped improve the skin elasticity and hydration of over 1,000 people. That's why I've been using it. Other products do not contain the same level of the 5 critically important types of collagen for bright, even, and younger looking skin like my favorite collagen does. It combines the right type and the right amount of collagen that your skin needs to help rejuvenate its elasticity. So unlock your secret to healthy aging with this amazing powder. Health with Peggy does sell out, so they have a very high demand. So I want you to order yours now, and you can get up to 51% off. You do get free shipping. You get a free 60-day money-back guarantee as well. So get yours while you still can by going to healthwithpeggy.com or by clicking the link I will have for you below. Is college really worth it? Let's talk about that. By way of background, I have been an educator and an administrator at the college and university levels for over 30 years. I'm the former director of teacher education at the University of California, Irvine. My job was to teach teachers how to teach. I ran many different programs in professional development as well, and I've also been a college instructor at all levels. So I actually loved going to college. I loved my college years. I loved it so much that I went on to graduate school, and I ended up going into debt, taking out student debt to go through 4, 5, 6 years of education after high school. Back in the day when I went to college, it was something that was really expected of me. I was told by society that I would never get a good job, that I would be a loser if I didn't go to college and get a college degree. And in a private class that I did with my Mind Body Makeover, I talk at length about my college career, how I chose political science, what I really wanted to do instead. So if you're interested, please hop on over to thehealthyamerican.org and click on products and classes. You can join that Mind Body Makeover. It's recorded for you. So I loved being a student, and that's why I went on to become a teacher. I loved being in school. I loved learning. I loved studying. I loved the interaction, the community, all of it. I couldn't wait to go to college. And I took out student loans so that I could pay for it. I also worked the entire time I was in college. I took a full load. I graduated after 4 years with a degree in political science. At that time, I thought I wanted to go on to law school. Interestingly, how my life may be coming full circle going to law school. I'll share that with you at another time. But I always was interested in the law, in justice, in society, in political systems. It's just something that was a fascination of mine. And that's what I did for my bachelor's degree. I was in debt, and then I took part-time jobs after I graduated to start to pay off some of the student loans. And by part-time jobs, I was working at restaurants, I was teaching swimming lessons, I was lifeguarding, and I was saving money to go on a trip to Europe. And that's what I did a year after I graduated from college. I took a year off with my best girlfriend, and we traveled all around Europe. And during that time, I decided that I wanted to go on to graduate school. I set my law school aside, and I decided that I wanted to become a diplomat. Because I love travel, I love languages, I love different cultures. So I went on for my master's degree in international law and policy studies, and I took out more student loans. While I was in the graduate school, the loans that I had for my undergraduate were put on hold. They were paused. So I just continued to collect debt. I worked again while I was in grad school, and I worked for the Department of the Navy. I was a research assistant in the Naval Postgraduate School, and boy, oh boy, were my eyes open to what goes on in the federal government. I talk about that in some of my private videos. It's quite eye-opening. I've also spoken about it in some of my in-person events. I'm not going to talk about it here on this public platform, but let's just say things are not always what they appear. So I had my introduction to working for the federal government, and I still couldn't make ends meet to pay for my rent, pay for my food, pay for my utilities, my gas, my car. But I still was able to cut down on some of the loans that I needed to take out. After that, I went into the Peace Corps, and my loans again were deferred because now I was with another government agency. So it just kept racking up. I had all of these loans to pay off. When I was in the Peace Corps, I was not making basically any money. I was paid a stipend, just a living stipend, but it was nothing that I could save or use to pay off any student loans. So I came back from Morocco after being there for 3 years, and then I started working at the university. A huge portion of my paycheck went to pay off the student loans. So then I started to go into credit card debt, because when I was in school, I had all these credit card agencies dangle their offers to me. And again, I was a college student. I was a graduate student. I wasn't even really earning enough money to live on. And they wanted me to take their credit card, giving me these limits. And of course, back then, I wasn't as financially mature as I am now. And when I saw that my credit card had a limit of $800, I thought that was my money, in a manner of speaking, and that I could use it for $800 and I would just pay it off later. Well, when the bill came due, not only did I have to pay my own rent, food, utilities, living expenses, then a portion of it had to go to the government to pay off those government loans, and then a portion of it had to go to the credit card, and before you know it, maybe this happened to you as well, I was swimming in credit card debt. I'm very happy to say today I have zero debt. I do not carry credit cards. My car is paid off. I have a 17-year-old car, which is a workhorse. I love it. I'm going to drive it until forever. And I do not carry debt whatsoever at all. I pay as I go. And I learned that lesson the hard way after decades of being in debt and taking on another credit card to transfer the debt onto that credit card because it was a lower interest rate. And then that one, friends, I don't participate in any of it at all, period. It took a lot of time and a lot of planning. I did follow the Dave Ramsey method. It's not the only method. It might not even be the best method, but it was something that was inspiring to me. I followed the program. We got out of debt. We're happy. We're free, okay? We live within our means. We do not take on debt, period. So when the government tells me to zig now, I zag, all right? So I did a previous video about this is not a benevolent move on the government. They're not forgiving student debt because they care about you. There are other reasons. Please watch that video. I'd love to know what you think. And let me know what happened to you. Did you take on student debt? So actually the topic of this video is college worth it? And I will say, for me personally, it was worth it. At that time, I got my degrees. I learned a lot. I actually went into a profession that was not related to my degrees. I became a teacher. There are some professions that do require professional training, such as becoming a dentist or a doctor or, an accountant, I think, a lawyer. You do have to go to these professional schools, but there are more and more alternative ways of doing it. For me personally, I did go into debt. It was a great hardship for me to pay that off over time. My life could have been a million times better if I hadn't have gone to college, but I don't know. We never know the road not taken. I am satisfied with my choices, but I do recall learning things in college and at grad school that really made me scratch my head and go, I don't really buy what they're selling me here. So I'll have to tell you about that in another time. But I want to talk about the nuts and bolts of going to college now in this millennial, right, in this decade, in this year of 2022, is it worth it for those of you that are thinking about going to college? And let's take a look. I want you to come to your own conclusion. I'm going to bring up a couple of points that I came up with, and here we go. When I have been counseling the parents of young adults who have been harassed and intimidated and coerced to take the cooties cure in order to go to college, my first question for them is, why do you want to go to college? So I've had the privilege of these last couple of years of hearing directly from college students, and their number one answer, do you know what their number one answer is to the question, why do you want to go to college? It is, I want to have the college experience. That's their answer. The parents will say that, the kids will say that. I just want to have the college experience. And I will answer back somewhat in jest, hey, I can save you a lot of money. Just go down to the local bar, get drunk, have a one-night stand. There's your college experience. You may think that's rather vulgar and crude, but I will just say from what I've noticed and observed, that seems to be a very common college experience. What they probably mean is they want to get an education. They want to live away from home. They want to live in a dorm. They want to be with their buddies. They want to participate in sports. A number of the individuals I counseled actually were going to college on different athletic scholarships. They wanted, but I also would point out to them that they could still participate in sports without being in college. So a lot of the reasons why these young adults wanted to go to college really had very little to do with the education that they were going to receive, with the potential job opportunities, salaries, etc. They just wanted to be away from home and go to college like everybody else. And I'm on the record to say, I think they should have the right to go to college. If they want to go to college and be exempt from the cooties cure, if they want to live in the dorm, if they want to do all those things, that's the beauty of freedom. They have the freedom to choose that for themselves. But what I'm thinking is that society has done a disservice, and by society, I really mean we the people, by encouraging people to go to college without looking at other alternatives. I do believe that the greater society, the evildoers, the puppet masters, definitely want people to go to college. They want them to go to college to encumber them with the debt. They want to indoctrinate them in the methodologies and teachings and mindset that they want them to have. This next one I think is really important. They want to actually take them out of being a productive citizen, because, and by citizen I just mean individual, because think about it, all those years that I went to college, that I was just working part-time jobs, teaching swimming lessons and being a lifeguard, I could have started to pursue a career, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, and I could have contributed more to society. I could have earned more money. I could have ended up in 6 years having a lot of money in the bank instead of having no money in the bank and owing money. So I look at those 6 years, what could have been instead. So I made a list of what I think are some of the reasons, some of the benefits of going to college. Let me know what you think in a comment below. So have the college experience. I heard a lot of people say that. Get an education. Okay, now I want to give another alternative to that. Going to college is not the only way to get an education. You can get an education in ways I'm going to share with you in just a moment. Some people say, I want to go to college because I want to get a good job. I want to get a better job. I want to earn more money than I would if I didn't have a college degree. I want you to think about that again. It's not guaranteed that you'll have a better job. It's not guaranteed that you'll make more money. There are other opportunities for you to earn a living without going into a tremendous amount of debt and going into a 4-year college or even beyond. Some people said that they wanted the respect of having a college degree. I think that's valid. It also is a part of our society kind of expecting you to have it. I would have more respect for someone if they did something with their life that didn't require college and they really had an impact otherwise. I would give them even more respect than just a college degree, because basically if you show up and do your projects, or there are people that pay other people to do their projects and papers and all of that, and you heard all about those scandals, and then they have a college degree, is that really worth it to hang that on the wall? All right, let's talk about some of the downsides. Oh, I also mentioned some people want to be in sports. they want to have the community, maybe they want to live in a different area. All of those things can happen without going to college, all right? So the other part about going to college, most people are going to have significant debt. I did some research. The average cost per year for a college or university in the United States is $50,000 a year. That's $200,000 in debt. But remember, it's not just the debt, it's all of the money that you didn't earn because you were in college. You are out of the workforce. So 4 years that you could have had an apprenticeship, you could have started out at, the bare bottom, so to speak, of a company, and then work your way up. That's kind of a funny expression, isn't it? And you could have worked your way up during those 4 years. Now you're going to be starting at the bare bottom after college. You had 4 years just pass you by. I don't think people think about that very much. All right, we talked about being indoctrinated in their way of thinking. You've got 4 years of lost contributions that you could have made. And of course, you're a slave to the student loans if that's what you do. So let's talk about alternatives. I think, number one, if you want to go to college, go to a community college. It's much less expensive. Many people live at home while they're in a community college, so they don't have to pay for their, rent and food and all of that. Some of the college students contribute to the running of the household when they do live at home. So that is a win-win. You can go part-time, you can be working. So I think community college is a great opportunity for many people. Another thing is a trade school. So things like going to school to become a computer programmer, a dental hygienist, a telecom installer. I'm just looking at these that I saw online. So trade schools, electrician, plumber, carpenter, mechanic. So these are jobs that are going to be starting in the high, like $50,000, $60,000 a year, maybe even more. I just got this from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The professions that I spoke about a moment ago, you can get those when you go to the community college. Radiation therapist, computer programmer, registered nurse. A lot of these, you can start your profession out by going to the community college. Those professions are earning roughly $80,000. That's just the median income that I got off the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. How much money was I making? Now, granted, that was a long time ago. I was making probably $20,000 a year, all right, if that. And I was not even working in anything remotely related to my college degree. How many of you got a degree that was not related at all to your profession? I went on to get certificates in teaching, and that actually was more valuable to me than the college degree when I started teaching. I was teaching ESL. You could teach at churches. That's a topic for another day, but there are so many other opportunities. So community college, trade school, where you pretty much know that if you're studying to become an electrician, you're going to get a job as an electrician. I also know of companies right now here in California that are paying you to become an apprentice. And I think apprenticeships are amazing. You can learn how to run machines. You can learn how to become a computer programmer. There are also things called boot camps where you're not going to college, but you're paying to learn computer programming, very often tied into a job offer at the end. So I think apprenticeships are amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to grow in that direction. For example, let's say that you want to become a pilot. Do you really have to go to college to become a pilot? I don't know. I'm asking you a question. Maybe you can just go to flight school. You don't necessarily have to go to college. So my mom was an RN and she went to nursing school. She didn't go to college and learn about liberal arts and economics. She learned about nursing. So in a way, I suppose it was a type of trade school. And then the other thing that you can do is you can start your own business. You can become an entrepreneur. Friends, you can study online. Back in the day when I was in college, we didn't have the internet, believe it or not. I think it was just starting. And the opportunities now for you to learn, you could go to Harvard online, basically. You can go to Hillsdale College is another great one. They have all of these classes on the Constitution for free. And then think about what it is that you like to do, and can you start a business that way? You could start a dog walking business. You could do landscaping. You can be, take care of somebody's home when they're not there. There are so many things. I want you to think about what you love to do. So many people I know are in health and wellness. That does not require a college degree. You can become an artist. There are, oh my gosh, the sky is the limit. Let me end by telling you a story that was so inspiring to me. And I read this in one of my self-reliance magazines about homesteading. And this adult woman wrote and said that when she was a child, she was obsessed with herbs, and she would sneak into her mom's herb garden, and she would, plant different herbs and nurture them. And she was just fascinated with herbs. This child was homeschooled over the years. She never went to college, and now she has written books on herbs. She became an expert, and she's a self-taught expert. That was her love from the age of 5. It still is her passion. She is helping others through her passion and through her own self-education. I can't wait to read your comments, friends, about, do you think college is worth it? Have you gone to college? Would you go to college now if that were the situation? Do you have kids that are in college? I can't wait to read all of your comments. I'm absolutely fascinated by this. I do believe that the evildoers want people out of the workforce. They don't want people being productive and innovative and making a difference, because it diminishes their power. And when you're stuck away in college, even in the high school, for years doing just what is allowed for you to learn, I think that is very, very limiting, and I believe that the sky's the limit. All right, friends, I'll see you soon in an upcoming video. Thank you for sharing, subscribing, liking, commenting, all that good stuff. And thank you for celebrating my 10 million views here on YouTube. I also answered the questions, Peggy, why are you on YouTube? I answered that in my newsletter. If you're not on my newsletter, hop on over to thehealthyamerican.org. It's absolutely free. I email a few times a week to keep you up to date, and it's a great way to learn about action steps and to just stay connected. See you soon, everybody.